Now remember, Ukraine does have a strong military, but is no comparison to that of Russia. It's trying whatever is possible to stop the advancing Russian forces. And India today has now accessed some images of armed Ukrainian police frisking people on the ground because there is a lot of uncertainty, suspicion and fear. Ukrainian authorities suspect that some of the local residents could actually be helping in turn the Russian forces. India Today's executive editor Gaurav Sawant is on the ground, getting you this exclusive input from Mariupol.
We are currently in Mariupol. This city is on edge. It's on edge because shelling has intensified and the shelling appears to be becoming more precise, closer to where military target is. And the army here, it seems, suspects that there are people within Mariupol who seem to be guiding the Russian artillery. And if you look just behind me, there is the secret unit of the police, the counter-terror unit of the police that is now on the streets, and they're frisking people. What they're doing is they are checking people with mobile numbers. They're checking their mobile phones. They're trying to find out who is it who's coming here at this point of time. And it's very risky to be here on the streets because there's curfew, there's martial law. Everyone has been asked to move away. But what the police are doing right now is frisking people who are on the streets. Not only are they frisking people, they're checking their mobile phones, they're checking mobile images, and they're trying to find out who is the person who's been talking to people outside, who's been communicating with people outside, because the impression is that somebody within is helping the Russian army, because the shelling has not only intensified, but with the intensification of shelling, what has also happened is the shelling apparently is now getting more precise. It is hitting closer to the targets, to VAs and VPs, vital assets and vital points here in Kharkiv, in the place where we are at this point of time. And we do not know who is the police, who's the secret police, and who pretend to be, maybe drunkards, but then are giving information to the police. So the situation extremely precarious here in Mariupol. Fighting has intensified is what we are learning, and total movement to the borders has now been curtailed. In fact, people are being told to stay indoors. And if you look around, till yesterday this was a bustling city. Till yesterday there were a lot of people here, but now there's virtually nobody on the streets. People have abandoned this city. People have abandoned Mariupol in numbers. They're either indoors. The senior citizens are indoors. The youngsters, the youth, they are driving away, taking lifts in vehicles because the trains are still stranded. The airport has been bombed and it is ineffective. But look behind me as the police frisk people who are out. Major suspicion is that somebody within Mariupol is giving information to the Russians, which is leading to very precise attacks that are taking place, targeting of vital assets and vital points. The second bit of information that we can share with our viewers at this point of time is the apprehension is Russian soldiers in plain clothes have infiltrated in the city. It is being said that it is not clear. There may be elements within the city who are helping the adversaries, and that is why this city is currently on edge. With cameraman Pawan Kumar in Mariupol, eastern Ukraine, Gaurav Sawant for India Today. And if you look just behind me, there is the secret unit of the police, the counter-terror unit of the police that is now on the streets, and they're frisking people. What they're doing is they are checking people with mobile numbers, they're checking their mobile phones, they're trying to find out who is it who's coming here at this point of time.
Here are some haunting images that actually depict the situation on the ground. The MLRS barrage recorded on camera in Olksy-Yivka neighborhood of Kharkiv. A car driver was caught amid this heavy shelling. The smooth ride otherwise turned into a nightmare. The driver struggling to steer the car while there is shelling just meters away. There was another video that has surfaced, and a similar incident where the driver had a close shave as his car was caught in the shelling there in Ukraine. The images of Russian tanks deployment from Kherson region in Ukraine has now gone viral on social media. There has already not been casualties on both sides. Russia continues to advance into Ukraine. This is one visual of full battle mode in Ukraine. But there is defiance. Images of one Ukrainian man trying to stop the advancement of a Russian military convoy toward Kyiv. It's gone viral again on social media. This comes amid heightened tension between Moscow and Kyiv as Russian troops are marching every single hour into the Ukrainian capital. In this video, you can see the man standing before the Russian tank as they rolled into the capital city. The haunting image number 5 comes with regard to a Ukrainian man who survived after the car he was driving was run over by a Russian tank soldier. The terrifying footage shot from nearby buildings and different angles proves how the tank swerved to run over the car as those filming start to scream. The vehicle completely flattened, but miraculously the driver of this vehicle appears to have probably survived. But the driver of the tank is seen reversing the car and then moves ahead. Ukraine's defense ministry has taken to social media site Twitter with images of Ukraine's security forces being hospitably received by the Russian forces. The defense ministry alerted everyone and urged all to be cautious of the Russian troops. Defense ministry tweeted, and I quote it here, "Be vigilant. Russian troops can disguise themselves as servicemen of the armed forces and other law enforcement agencies as well. They could be in civilian clothes. Suspicious people must be reported to the police." And remember, India Today is not depending on second-hand information. Our reporters are on the ground in and outside Ukraine. Gaurav Sawant is in Ukraine. He's been in Mariupol, and right now he's reporting from a railway station where we see trains are not moving for days now. Abha Bakaya, meanwhile, is on the Ukraine-Poland border because Poland is right now open and welcoming a lot of refugees, thousands in number. Gaurav, first to you. You know, suspicion, fear, uncertainty is now being shown on the ground. That exclusive report that you sent us of Frisking, you know, in an hour like this, nobody really knows who is what, and that perhaps shows the uncertainty on ground, Gaurav.
You know, this is the situation where this city is completely on edge. You're absolutely right. Because of this uncertainty, because of this fear and apprehension, everyone is being frisked. We've just sent visuals. You know, we were shooting in a part of the Mariupol. We were trying to head close to where the front lines are. We were stopped there at another location where we were filming something. The army came. It's not just the police. You know, now it's the security forces, not the local police, but their equivalent of the National Security Guard or the counter-terrorism force. They're black cats. They came, they stopped us, they frisked us, and they wanted to know what's happening. Why are we here? And they checked our documents. In fact, at another location, they even wanted to check our mobile phones. But when we told them, no, we are Indian journalists, showed them our identity card and said we are from India. We are India Today. So, you know, they smiled and said, okay, India is okay. And they let us go. But a lot of journalists from other places, they've not only been frisked, 2 journalists were actually detained for some time and told to leave Mariupol because, one, this is not just a border city. This is also a city where the apprehension is that Russian soldiers may have infiltrated in plain clothes. Russians may have infiltrated and may be guiding the artillery attack and the assaults that are taking place. And that is why they do not want outsiders here. They want no outsiders here. And they're saying so now in as many words. If you're here, stay indoors. Journalists are also being saying, if you want to report from your hotel and nowhere else. Most journalists have been told to leave. Actually, most people are now being told to leave for Dnipro, the nearest big town, because that may be safer, not as risky as Mariupol. The apprehension is maybe later tonight, maybe later this evening, there would be a bigger assault or a counter-assault, as the case may be, to push back the advancing forces. Because look at those visuals there on your television screen. One after the other, you have tanks rolling down the streets. One after the other, you have trucks rolling down the street, moving towards the border. A clear indication that something is really likely to happen in the hours ahead. And it's absolutely saddening to see how behind you, know, just a few days ago, there was still a lot of activity. Now I see absolutely like a deserted street there. Gaurav, do take care of yourself. Please stay safe. Let's go across just on the border because Abha Bakaya is on the Poland-Ukraine border. Abha, that is where perhaps we'll now know people who are leaving these towns are reaching that border, and you're telling us about how difficult it is and must be an emotional homecoming for so many who are trying to meet each other, recognize each other. What is the border looking like, Abha?
It's actually been very, slow and painful, Pooja. The stream of people coming in has been taking time. We have been seeing in parts, bursts of women and children, kids, that are coming through looking tired, distraught, but relieved. Happy to
Yes.
be on this side. And remember, even once they cross the checkpoint, this isn't it. They actually have to walk quite a bit further, even though there are basic amenities set up for them here. So, water, basic sanitation, that's of course been set up at the checkpoint. There are some buses. If there are certain contingents that have, for example, the Indian contingent has brought a couple of buses and vans, but they're expecting almost 50 Indians to start with, and then about 800 in total. But we're still waiting for them to come through. I think only a handful have come through so far. So it's been slow and painful. We've also been seeing the NATO choppers doing their rounds above this area. They have base close by the US. So NATO has been doing the chopper has been doing its rounds. Not much not much more to say about that. It's really more about addressing the plight of those that are coming across the border from Ukraine. And while everyone is here to support them, there are hordes of people that are gathered here waiting to do what they can to help. It can only be done once those people are allowed to cross over, and those delays are taking time on the Ukraine border.
Abha Bakaya, Gaurav Sawant, thank you so much for getting us this ground report. Remember, our reporters are taking a huge risk to get us these ground reports, and this is clearly a historic moment, the manner in which we see the world order changing for now. As Ukraine says, they are still defined. I'm heading into a very short break. Don't go anywhere, because when I return, I want to bring you stories that are of struggle, but it's also of courage and hope. How people waiting for the West, for sanctions or any other help, are trying to stay on the job, on their duty, as they are calling it, and save their country for now.